All right, this week we're working on isometric drawings, and this is videos about the T connector. And I've provided you with a prototype file to use in that I've already created the layers that you will need, and I've set the text style to Arial already for you. There may be a few other things that we'll need to do. I think all of that is okay. So I'm going to walk you through drawing this T connector, following the steps in the textbook, and show you kind of how that's done. Back in the day when we did drawings by hand, we had a method of determining the starting point for an isometric drawing when you were going to center it on the paper or center it in a space. With AutoCAD, we really don't need to do that because we can just select the whole thing and move it around. In your hand drawings for this class, you're going to do, I think you're going to do a little bit of that, and it's a useful little method to know to work through, because even within AutoCAD, sometimes you may need to be able to center it within a certain space, but it's easy enough to move things. So we're going to start. I'm starting on the visible layer. I don't know why they haven't tell you to create an isometric layer, but we're going to start on the visible layer, and we're going to turn on the isometric drafting. Well, there we go, and we're going to turn ortho mode on, and like we saw in the practice, ortho follows the axis line. And so it starts off with drawing two lines there. So I'm going to start my line command and just kind of pick a spot here and drag up to the right and make that 5 inches long. Start my line command again and get my midpoint snap and come down 3 inches. Okay, and next is to draw the two iso circles, and so the command is ellipse and then I for iso circle, and I'll pick that center point, and my radius will be 0.5, and I'm going to do it again with a radius of 1. Oh, what happened there? Oh, I hit the repeat, and you can't do that. You got to go back through the whole command again. So ellipse, iso circle, radius of 1. And now I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to copy them. Oh, what the heck? Oh, I hit C and not CO. Come on. And so I'm just going to copy these to those points since they're all the same size. And now I need to draw tangent lines. And getting a tangent object snap on an isometric is kind of difficult. So let's draw us a couple of construction lines. I'll tell you what, let's just draw like that and then move it to there. Copy it to here, and then let's draw another one in this direction and move it. And now we've got some tangent points that we can snap to. And we don't want a perpendicular snap, so I'm just going to go a little bit long. Well, actually, I can go all the way up to the top here. let's go to nearest. Where are we at? Come on. It's not picking up. So we'll go shift right click. Oh, what the heck? Nearest. There's my nearest snap. And just to save me the headache of that, I'm going to copy that from here to here. Okay. Now the book tells us to trim. And let's see, actually those two right there should be on my construction layer. Okay, so now we're going to trim. Okay. Those are all good. I can trim that part right there. And I want to keep these because I'm going to need them as I'm drawing up. Now, because this thing is an angle, we can't transfer or orthographic angles into an isometric drawing. It just doesn't work. So we have to draw an orthographic view of the front of this so that we can determine what the book is showing as distance A. So let's turn off ISO draft and come over here and let's draw a line 2 and up 2, and then from here we're going to turn off ortho mode and come down and let's make that length of 3 and then tab, and let's see, it should be 37 degrees down. So we would say 180 minus 37, grab my calculator, 143 degrees. Okay, and now let's draw a vertical line from here up to there. Trim both of those out, and in this line right here, properties, has a length of 0.4929, which is kind of difficult to replicate. So what let's do, let's copy this line with a base point at the bottom, and let's copy it to there, and then do the same thing with this line here on the right. Now I can delete these two. I can delete this, and let's go back into ISO draft. Turn off ortho mode and draw a line from those two endpoints. So, and then a trim here. Okay, so anytime you're dealing with an angled line from an orthographic view into an isometric view, you've got to locate the two endpoints of that line. Think of it as an X, Y, distance, and coordinate. And so when we drew our orthographic view, here we had an X distance between them here, and then we needed a Y distance here and a Y distance here. And so we drew that in our orthographic view, and it just transferred that information over to here. Okay. We got that. All right. So now we're going to create the fillets and the rounds, which in you have to use an isometric ellipse to do that. And so the book tells us to create some construction lines 0.387 of an inch away from the inside corners. And so let's go offset. Let's set our layer. Oh, current. So let me change my current layer. Construction, offset, layer, current. Distance be 0.38. And I want to pick these lines to create some. Okay, and so now we'll use our ellipse command, EL, I for ISO, and that will be my center. And so the book gives you, it says 0.76, but that would be the diameter, and it's asking for radius. So I'm just going to use that object snap right there. Okay. And let's go ahead and put that back to our visible layer. And then we can copy that. We want to be sure and pick up that .38 or the actual center point. And so we can copy those around. And then we can trim those out. Boring watching somebody do CAD, but we're going to keep it going. All right, and we'll get those trimmed out. And so now that's got our front view of the object fixed. Now you can see we're kind of high up against that that rectangle. So let's move everything down just a little bit. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And so now we're going to use a copy command to move this stuff to the rear to create the rear face of it, and it's going to go 1 inch back, but it's going to be on an isometric plane. So let's turn ISO mode back on. Turn ortho on, and let's change our ISO plane to give us this orientation so that we can go back to the left. And the book shows you which items that we're wanting to copy. So let's go ahead and select these things that we're going to need. We'll need that line. Vertical coming down, this ellipse. Don't think we'll need the vertical line, but we need this and this. All right, and so now we'll go copy and pick a base point, doesn't matter which one. And we're going to start drawing it back on that plane, and we want to go 1 inch. Okay. Oh, we have a little bitty vertical line right there that didn't copy. So let's copy that line. Okay, that looks good. And now we're going to add connecting lines to connect these things together. And so we'll go line command and we'll connect those. Oh, wrong layer. Okay, and now we want to draw a tangent line here. I don't want perpendicular. We can go with that quadrant point back to that one. And then while we're here, let's trim this stuff up. Okay, and now let's come over here to this one. And we'll come down to the bottom here to do this one. Okay, and so that's, oh, we got some trim right here, okay. All right, so that's looking, oh, we need a line across here. And another trim. Okay, so that's looking good. All right, and so next we're going to add we're going to add center marks. So let's move those to the construction layer, and honestly, we could convert some of these, I do believe. Let me go back and look and see how that looks. Okay, so we've got a vertical line through there, a horizontal line, and in those. So, well, while we're here, let me show you something. If we use our center mark command here, it won't pick up an isometric ellipse. Okay, so you can't use that tool. So we have to draw them, and I think since we've already got these, let's go ahead and convert some of these. And we'll change their layers over to the center layer. And well, I'll tell you what. I'll make the one the right size and then copy it to the right. So we want to extend this. Let's go a 1/4 inch outside. So let's go with our lengthen command. LENDE 0.25, and choose both ends of that. Okay, you could repeat the commands here, that would be fine, or we could draw another one and recreate it. Let's use this one here, and so let's trim it. And let's lengthen DE 0.25. Okay, and so now let's copy this one from the midpoint up to the midpoint here. And let's copy this one from the midpoint down to here. And you could have edited this one if you wanted to. I'm just going to delete it and copy both of these. to there. Okay. And now then let's turn off our construction layer. Oh, those didn't get copied over, did they? Okay. And now then, since the textbook shows another center mark going up the center of the theme, if we just drew one line across here, our plus marks wouldn't work out correctly. Okay. So let's copy both. No, let's go back and turn our construction layer back on. That would give us something to actually snap to. And so now we can copy one of these. So we'll just pick this one at the bottom. We'll copy, choose that midpoint, and snap it up to there. Now we can turn off our construction layer. Okay, and so now we've got the appropriate plus symbols right there. Okay, even though these lines kind of, let's see, how much do they? Well, they're actually endpoint to endpoint, it looks like. Yeah, close enough that we don't have to worry about trimming those out. If we lengthen this, we end up with it throws off our pattern here in the middle. So instead of lengthening it, let's just draw a line connecting those two together. And now we've still got our plus marks in the middle. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So check everything over here. We'll turn off that model space tab. Go in and edit your title block with all the correct information here. The drawing name, the scale, there's no, well, with ISOs, a lot of times we don't say a scale. Our viewport is 1 to 2, so we'd put the scale at 1 to 2. Put your name in, school name, drawing number, stuff like that. So fill that title block information in, and then submit that in Blackboard.